Peace, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze, ablaze. It's a cold winter. Y'all niggas better bundle up. It might be time for us to set some necessary fires. You know, there's a lot of ice out there that needs to be melted and crushed and destroyed. So perhaps fire is the correct element that we lean into on this night. So anyway, I appreciate y'all making some time. Thank you for coming to hang out. You guys know the only thing I lie about is the time I will start. So there's that. But one of the things I want to come and talk to you all about tonight, I'm sure you have heard about the arrest and federal charges against journalist Don Lemon. But unlike Don Lemon, another additional, I believe, 3 journalists, all women, I'm not clear, but of course, Georgia Fort, the longtime independent Black woman-led reporter, journalist out of Minneapolis, who has been on the ground on really the front lines of many of the movements that have been uprising out of Minneapolis for the past several years. And Georgia Fort was arrested at her home. And I know a lot of the news is being focused on Don Lemon because, he's the famous person, right? He's the, he was out in Los Angeles covering the Grammys when he was arrested, I think facing conspiracy charge and conspiracy to obstruct the First Amendment or some shit. This stemming from the incident out of Minneapolis a couple of weeks back where organizers protested inside of a St. Paul church that they say, which and I'm inclined to fucking believe them because, Nakeem Armstrong and the folks that run with her, I don't think that they would just be out here calling this pastor of this St. Paul, Minnesota church an ICE field director if he wasn't so. And every time I hear the media, mainstream legacy outlets describe, that church incident, the church protest, they always say that, the protesters allege that this guy is the ICE fielder. I'm like, don't y'all have niggas to go down there and issue FOIAs and just verify? Like, it's just an odd thing anyway, regardless. So these arrests stem from that incident, right? Don Lemon was present. He was broadcasting. Georgia Fort also present, also broadcasting. Not protesting, as is being alleged by the Trump administration, but even if they fucking were, I thought this was America, people. Well, that's the problem. It is America. This is America. This is exactly what America does. And they do it more often than not to Black folks and brown people. Now, we have seen this Trump administration, because I do want to talk about, because has really big and bad implications. As many are feeling alarmed by this latest aggressive tactic by the Trump administration by targeting members of the media. Again, I'm thinking of the uprisings after George Floyd was killed, the uprisings after Freddie Gray was killed, and we can go down the list. But media, journalists, people who were out on the front lines were being targeted in different ways. Some of them actually with charges and others with naked violence, right? Journalists were being targeted, like lined up in the sights with rubber bullets and pepper balls and tear gas and all that shit. So to target the media, particularly independent media, alternative media, is something that is as American as apple pie. So I again I feel concerned for these people that are now finding themselves within the sights of this particular regime, which seems to be intentionally heavy-handed and petty. Petty. The Trump administration, this Department of Justice, is unconcerned with whether or not they actually win cases. They just seem pressed to bring charges. How many people's cases have we seen fall apart? I'm talking about running the gamut. Y'all remember, I fucking remember anyway, early in 2024, here come Beach Blonde Pam Bondi announcing the arrest of the so-called gang members MS-13. We got the Tunde and Agua, and they had to drop charges against all these niggas because their cases absolutely suck. So obviously, it is the instilling fear, this intimidation tactic towards people that are dissenters of this particular regime. I guess by extension, the whole of the United States, since criticizing this rotten country and being so-called un-American might land you on a domestic T list out here, which again, not new, but it's maddening. It's maddening. But I want to show you guys the experience that Georgia Fort had to deal with at her home when these jackbooted thugs, these masked, just ice cold. I mean, I'm not trying to make a pun here, but goddamn, like the blank stare, the 100-yard stare of these white supremacists, right? Even the brown ones, absolute white supremacists. That's a madness. But a scary situation for them to show up at her home where her family is, including her children, and to drag her away in handcuffs for what? For filming a protest, broadcasting, and reporting on it. So we got Brother Lateef in the back pushing the buttons. Brother Lateef, can we run those two clips consecutive back to back if you're able to do that? And so let me tell you what you were about to see in case you have not yet seen it. So like I said, deputized Proud Boys came to Georgia Fort's home, and it seemed like it was her mama who answered the door. Right on, mama. Mama didn't flinch. You know what I'm saying? Mama stood 10 toes down. I'm assuming that's her mother. I don't know if that's her mother or not. But the elder in her home stood 10 toes down. So shout out to her. But you can see the agents milling at her door, and you can see, the tremendous response outside. Again, this lady is a journalist. This lady is not a terrorist. She is not wanted for committing any violence or harming anyone. Allegedly exercising only her First Amendment is enough to elicit this type of response from the Trump regime. So you're going to see when they came to her door, and then the video she posted, or rather a snippet from the live that she did before she turned herself over to ICE agents. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Yes. Okay. Okay, well, this is really scary. There's kids in the house. You guys have not been really friendly in the community. And to me, this seems a little, can I finish, sir? Can I finish? Can I finish?
Get your phone.
This seems a little bit aggressive to have all these cars in our cul-de-sac, 2, 3 agents, and now I saw the one disappear to the back. So to me, this is a little aggressive to just serve a warrant. Slide the warrant. Let me see the warrant. Okay. And that, to me, what I have been told, is not a judicial warrant that has me to have to open the door for you.
Do you want to wear my black boots?
You guys, I wanted to alert the public that agents are at my door right now. They're saying that they were able to go before a grand jury sometime, I guess, in the last 24 hours, and that they have a warrant for my arrest. I've talked to my attorney, and I'm being advised to go with them, I guess, down to Whipple. And my children are here. They're impacted by this. This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press. I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press. Because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for filming the church protest a few weeks ago. Again, I don't have a long time here, you guys, but I wanted you to know, for me, agents are at my door right now. My attorney has spoken with them. I did send a relative outside to talk to them. They're showing some type of documentation, apparently, that they got an indictment from a grand jury. I knew that I was on a defendant's list. I did not publish it because it was under seal. And so we've done everything that we can to try and abide by, the advice of our attorneys. But right now, you guys, I wanted you to know I'm going to have to hop off here and surrender to agents as a member of the press. I filmed the church protest a few weeks ago, and now I'm being arrested for that. It's hard to understand how we have a constitution, constitutional rights, when you can just be arrested for being a member of the press.
Do you want to wear my black?
All right. Georgia Fort, in her own words, telling everybody that she was about to turn herself in after federal charges were filed against her per a grand jury indictment, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm not clear because I have heard reporting as it pertains to Don Lemon that initially a judge would not sign off on an arrest warrant for him because what? I'm glad, Jesus Christ, like, not to say sanity ever really lived in our criminal and justice system, but allegedly logic and fair application of the law are supposed to be things. So anyway, the judge was like, what? Nope, this doesn't look right. So I guess we got to come up with something for Pam Bondi. If I called Pam Smith Buckshot Pam, BDB Pam, I got to call this bitch something. Well, bitch Bondi for now. Fuck it. Bitch Bondi took her shit to a grand jury, and per the old saying, you can indict a ham sandwich with a grand jury. So that is exactly what happened. And I want to continue to please shine the spotlight on Georgia Fort, shine the spotlight on the other women, other journalists that were taken, because Don Lemon's name is going to be the one that grabs headlines. And please, I just on a humanitarian level, like, Don Lemon has been a working journalist. He has reported from the scene of some very notable events in American history. I'm thinking most notably the Ferguson uprising of 2014. But Don Lemon was a paid mouthpiece of the fucking empire, as far as I'm concerned. Like, Don Lemon, I don't really see us in allegiance, that is, people on our side. Don Lemon, in my opinion, is a class traitor, right? Don Lemon extols the virtues of American exceptionalism, and I hate to see people when they get that nigga wake up call. You understand? And I'm not reveling in what has happened to him or anybody else, but I'm just saying, like, pay attention to what happens to Georgia Fort, okay? She is not moneyed like him. She is not. Please go subscribe to her YouTube channel right now, Georgia Fort. Go follow her website, georgiafort.com. Do what you can to support this Black woman with material support and just support, because people are going to go right over her in effort to tell everybody about how badly Don Lemon is being treated. Don Lemon's going to be just fine, okay? I promise you. And um I'm thinking about what this moment means historically, because members of the Black press, in addition to, the people who were our freedom fighters, Frederick Douglass with the North Star, 1898, during the Wilmington coup, the Wilmington uprising out of North Carolina, part of what kicked off the Wilmington uprising, or what the coup d'etat that happened on American soil before J6 in 1898, part of what kicked it off was the election of a multiracial government in part. But the other part that kicked it off was the publisher of, I believe the paper was called the Daily Record. His name was Alex Manley. Alex Manley had wrote a scathing, scathing op-ed letting white men know, because white men, of course, were lynching Black people, in particular Black men, for alleged romantic trysts with white women. And the tone of Alex Manley's op-ed was like, hey, nobody's making y'all women come over here. Okay, like the Becky and them come over to Negro Town because they like it over here, not because anybody is making them. And as you can imagine, the white men did not particularly care for that. So as part of the expression of their white rage, their white racist murderous rage, in which untold people were slaughtered in Wilmington by the racist marauding whites. I believe it was the red shirts. Woo! History in this country does not repeat, baby. The shit fucking rhymes, does it not? Alex Manley, I believe, survived. However, his paper did not. They came and smashed the newspaper office, smashed his printing press. Ida B. Wells experienced the same thing some decades later when whites again came to tear shit up in her St. Louis, I believe it was. Was Ida in St. Louis, or was she out of Memphis? I can't remember. I want to say it was St. Louis, but Ida had her paper press and her newspaper office burnt to the ground because the whites did not want to hear all that freedom and truth shit out of these Negroes. And here we are back again. And Georgia Fort is not the same as Jim Comey. It's not the same as Mark Kelly. To a certain extent, I do appreciate because, I love it when there's intra class and intra-race squabbles amongst the elite. So when Trump went after former FBI Director James Comey, and they're going after Senator Mark Kelly, I'm like, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be all right. But there's something to this regime going big game hunting, as it will, like trying to hang as many big names / heads on their wall. And I think Don Lemon, in addition to the arrest of Nikema Levy Armstrong and the sister who was from the St. Paul school board, Chantel, I can't remember her last name. It starts with an A. And now Don Lemon and Georgia Fort and the other people that were arrested, they are letting all you Negroes know, all of you dissenters know, that if you get out here and think that you got constitutional rights, they are going to remind you that you don't. Trump said it out of his mouth. The civil rights era, it was a little unfair to whites. This nigga said it was unfair. Wow. So, but basically what he means by that is that you darkies did too much too fast. And, they didn't know that as soon as they integrated schools and gave people employment and educational opportunities, that within a couple short generations that people would actually take that shit and run with that shit. And they don't like that because they don't think that Black people should have anything, least of all rights, least of all any sort of material accumulation. That's why all of our things have been summarily stolen. All of our farmland, all of our houses that reside in gentrified cities in this country, like your grandma's house that she had lived in that joint for 55 years. The whites was salivating. Couldn't wait to come take grandma's house. So it's just another episode of where we are. But hold on. And I feel bad for folks that are looking to establishment leadership and asking, what are y'all doing? Because I think the time for asking those questions has long since passed, right? I don't think we need to be asking Democratic leadership of any sort at any level, what are you doing? I believe that you should hold your elected officials responsible, but when they have shown to you over and over again that not only are they willing to not, they will not fight for you, they will not fight on your behalf, they will not fight on your interests, but then they will tell you also not to fight. We need everybody to go home and just be peaceful. Get the fuck do you anyway? I want to hear from a sister because I believe there was a press conference at the Whipple building in Minneapolis after the arrest of Georgia Fort. The folks came out. Minneapolis do not play about their people, and we respect it. We love it. And the person we're going to hear from, her name is Leslie Redmond. Leslie Redmond is the president of the Minneapolis NAACP. And I pulled her clip because I appreciate the fire with which she spoke. But I also think that she represents or vocalizes a perspective that a lot of Black people who are reliable Democrats, like are really feeling maybe a little lost and bewildered in this moment. And this lady actually being on the ground in Minneapolis, I can understand why she's bewildered. So I definitely want to give her a lot of latitude and a lot of grace. But anyway, I think you guys will hear what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and run that clip. Reverend Lateef, thank you so much.
This is a state of emergency, and I'm wondering. This is a state of emergency, and I'm wondering where our leadership is. Where is Governor Walz? Where is Mayor Fry? Where are all of our representatives? And if you want to run for office and you're not standing with community, you don't have a shot. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of standing up here. And Georgia is a wife. She is a mother. She's a business owner. She's a journalist. She should not be in jail right now. And everybody should be outraged about that. This does not make any sense. This is real trauma. This is not a joke. Trump, this is not a show. This is not a game. This is people's real life. And I want everybody, the world is watching Minnesota once again. Once again, we're under the microscope because we're not being protected and we can't get it right. And it's not on the community. And nothing's burnt to the ground. Y'all always making excuses. Y'all want to act like this is us against them. No, we're under attack. And the people have not even begun to fight back. We can't even record. We can't even stand. We can't even live. People can't leave their houses. People are losing their jobs. People are afraid. And Georgia had the courage to record it. And now she's arrested. Where is our constitutional rights? We are under attack, and you all better wake up before it's too late to wake up. It's not a joke. It's not a drill. When journalists are getting arrested, you all better be afraid. This is a state of emergency, and I'm wondering where our leadership.
So that clip, I believe, courtesy of Breakthrough News. Please go follow please, y'all. Now is the time. If you haven't already, if you aren't already, if you're not following every righteous independent media outlet right now, you know who's on our side. Breakthrough News is on our side. Unicorn Riot on our side. Status Quo on our side. Black Liberation Media on our side. Electronic Intifada on our side. Like, run it up. On site media out of Minneapolis, the brother whose video I played here maybe last week or so, brother Toussaint, I can't call his last name. Follow your folks, everybody. It's beyond crunch time. It's been game time, unfortunately, but things keep ratcheting up and the pressure keeps intensifying on our folks and on our movements. And I appreciate what the sister was saying. But if we are still looking to our governors and to our mayors for intervention on the steroid-esque police state, which ICE helps to foster those sort of conditions to make everybody feel as though, we are literally under occupation. these same elected officials, Democrats, Democratic governors, Democratic mayors, they had no problem with our cities being under local police occupation, right? And again, I keep saying the way that local cops are being framed as the good guys, as the heroes, or well, they have to just do their job. They're following orders. That's what the fucking that's Nuremberg logic. I don't give a goddamn what uniform that they're wearing. None of these law enforcement, none of them support our communities. None of them. Not your local cop, not the cop that lives next door to you, not the cop who lives in your apartment complex with the take-home vehicle. Fuck all them niggas. Them niggas are all on the same script as ICE, as Homeland Security. Even if your local police are not tasked with doing immigration duties, what they are tasked with is keeping your black ass and your brown ass confined to the red line neighborhoods, making sure that you are stopped and frisked at disproportionate rates relative to how much you are represented in the population, to make sure that you experience economic stress when they pull you over for expired registration and get you a $250 fucking ticket. Like, that is terrorism as well. That is oppression. That is occupation. That is all that shit that local police managed to do just fucking fine before ICE rolled up in the scene. And now it's just way more in your face. It's a lot more uglier. It's a lot more brutal, overtly brutal, indiscriminately brutal. And I first of all, but when it comes to Georgia Ford and Don Lemon, I do not believe that they are going to face any convictions. What they are going to face, well, probably her more so than he. I mean, just the aggravation of now having to defend yourself against federal charges. I mean, the outcome does matter because obviously we want her rather, in particular, them, plural. We want them to be totally exonerated, and they probably will. But this is not about trying to make sure that they're found guilty or to put in jail, because it's a kangaroo case. It's a case based off the pettiness and the hurt feelings of this white nationalist administration. This particular one, by the way, because how could I forget when I was talking about Alex Manley and Ida B. Wells? How could I forget Mumia Abu Jamal, who currently sits in a Philadelphia prison, Pennsylvania prison right now? A journalist speaking truth to power, calling out the oppressive nature of all of the systems that make America go, right? He had to pay a price for that. He is paying a price for that. And that's the thing. They want to make us pay. How dare you? How dare you speak out? Aren't you little pickaninnies better be grateful? Yeah, y'all better look at what we've always been good to you people. So no more First Amendment, which, by the way, questionable if we ever truly had one. Second Amendment gone for whites. Didn't see that one coming on the 2026 bingo card. No Second Amendment for whites. The whites are waking up and like, hey, wait a second. You're not supposed to do us that way. Oh yeah. All you race traitors, you Caucasian race traitors, how dare you go out there and put your bodies on the line in support of others, migrants, undocumented people, Black people, Native people. There's always been a penalty for whites to pay for standing up and using their voice for the others. And it's a price that has been paid before in blood. And as you see, it can be paid again and again in blood. So I think we should all bleed together. But anyway, folks are making quality arguments as to why Black people should not be out there on the front lines. Though, again, per the arrest of Dr. Levy Armstrong and Georgia Ford, and Black people are going to be out there, period, right? Maybe not at the numbers that other folks would like to see us at, maybe not at the 2020 numbers, but Black folks are always out there and will always be out there on some level. So don't ask where the Black folks are. The ones that are able and willing to be there, they're there. And the ones that are not there are also where they should be, perhaps. I want us to keep paying attention. And please tell all the people about Georgia Fort. Please tell them, because I see it happening already. The misogynoir, the easy erasure of Black women in our contributions and our suffering. They will quickly erase us, as though we were never part of the story, never part of the narrative. And I don't want to see that happen to this woman. And I don't think a lot of people, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the same YouTube streets as the rest of y'all. Maybe, we're in our own media bubble where, I would imagine that my viewers know that Georgia Fort got abducted, got arrested, but lay people may not. So please raise her name up, elevate her name, tell the people about her work, tell them about what she does on the front lines of documenting and reporting about what goes on in Minneapolis communities. It is very, very important. Okay. Free Georgia Fort. And let me tell you guys something else. I almost added a story to my doc pertaining in a way to what's going on here right now. And I didn't because it was an ABC News clip. And as much as I'm leery about mainstream and legacy outlets anyway, I feel like I'm more leery of them now. Like the legacy outlets have somehow proven themselves to be less trustworthy. Not to say that they demonstrated any true modicums of journalistic integrity and credibility. They report within the lines of which they are allowed to report things, right? They don't deviate. Nobody asks Donald Trump, should we be running Venezuela? How long are we going to run Venezuela, Mr. President? No one asks, why are we running? Like, anyway, I just can't stand it here. So sometimes if I see something that even I find interesting on a mainstream media outlet, I'm double dubious, because I'm like, I don't know about this shit. So anyway, the clip I was talking of was I'm assuming an Iranian American woman, because her accent was American. But when I see reporting from American mainstream outlets about China, Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, Colombia, I'm like, you niggas don't, y'all are not the sources. I don't believe you. But anyway, so my point is, I had questions about this lady's political disposition, so I chose not to run the clip. But what she was talking about had to do with the protests in Iran. Reports say that lots of people have been killed, though I'm not clear who's killing them. I don't know if it's the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. I don't know if it's motherfucking Mossad. You know what I'm saying? Deeply planted within Iranian society, fomenting dissent. I don't know. And I also don't want to have a knee-jerk support of the Iranian regime simply because they stand against the US, right? But they can stand against the United States and also potentially be treating their people like shit, right? Two things can happen at the same time. So I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But what the lady was saying was that phone service is only recently starting to be restored in Iran. Why? Because the government, according to her, cut the internet and cut phone service. So some of the reports I've seen coming out of Tehran from Western outlets talk about, the regime doesn't want these images getting out, so they've cut the internet. But apparently they also cut phone service. So information was not able to get out, I guess, into the world. But also Iranians reportedly had difficulty communicating within the country to each other. And I said, oh, that's probably next. That's probably next right here, everybody. Everybody. Now, they may not cut the internet, but they may cut the fucking internet. Now, what are the pros and cons to cutting the internet? The pros is that information cannot get out. People cannot coordinate with each other via the phone, right? Via their telephone, via social media, etc. If you cut phone and internet service, that might put everybody in the dark, so to speak. But the cons of cutting the internet, how does your little omnipotent surveillance network work? If everyone's phone, if you cut the internet, how are you going to track people, right? Considering they use our phones to track us everywhere, track our movements, our frequently visited places, who frequently visits us. If you cut the internet, how you do that? I don't know. I ain't got the answer, Sway. I'm just asking the questions. So I see from the administration's perspective the benefits and the cons of cutting the internet. But here's the thing, guys. I do not want us to lack imagination. Okay. Don't lack imagination. Trump counts on that shit, actually. America fucking counts on that every time. Habitual line steppers. Habitual line steppers. Every time you think that, oh, well, that would be equally stupid and catastrophic if America decided to go in that direction. And what does America do? Go exactly in that fucking direction. And then they go further than you even thought that they would go, right? So don't want us to lack imagination. And you guys know I've how I feel about analog communications. And I will say no more. No, y'all. That's the thing. The other thing the Iranian lady said on the clip. She said people were not able to make calls and texts. And she said, my relatives described it as living in the Stone Age. And I said, the Stone Age, what, 1985? Like, what is the Stone Age? Do people not know there were not always mobile phones? No. People actually managed to communicate in many different ways. Well, maybe not many, but it's some reliable ways. And I want, seriously, what the fuck happens to you? How do you get in touch with your folks? How do you get in touch with your partner? How do you get in touch with your parent? How do you get in touch with your child if you cannot call them on the cellular phone? How do you do that? Ask yourself these questions right now. How do you do that? So anyway, I've been looking into, analog communications very heavily. And when I'm ready to get into it, I will. But I just want you to be thinking about it, because this latest iteration of American empire, as it flails about on its inevitable decline and collapse, the one thing that this administration values more than anything is power and control, right? They can't even take criticism from little people, right? They don't want a crossword set against them in any way, shape, or form. They don't want any disobedience. It is absolutely comply or die. And if you fail to comply, I don't see why this doesn't turn into Gaza. And I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic at all, because when whole neighborhoods, like we're seeing out of Minneapolis, where people fucking lock in, where folks in open carry states exercise those rights, which, by the way, you need to be exercising those fucking rights. If you got the pews and you live in an open carry state, fucking open fucking carry. Open goddamn carry as much as possible, right? So anyway, but when you have people open carrying and showing that they are with the shits, why wouldn't they launch the drones on us? Why wouldn't they launch the Reaper drones or the fucking armed missile drones that we see aimed at the Palestinians, right, in residential neighborhoods, blowing up people's houses and buildings? Why wouldn't they do that? Why? Because they're nice? Because they don't want to tear up America? Bull fucking shit. Anything that we have seen this country either do ourselves or give our blessing to be done to other oppressed people, we need to fully expect for that war to come on back home. The global war on terror is coming to the United States, right? And it's going to be waged not against a foreign power, an external state power. Nope. The United States government is ready to go to war with us. They are at war with us. And at some point, we're going to have to respond as though we are at war. And people who are at war don't ask the governor, how come you not? You understand? And again, I'm not that don't take that as me bashing the sister, because I'm just saying I just need us to sort of remove ourselves from this fantasy that someone's coming to help us, someone's coming to save us, that the Democrats are finally going to wake up and send the National Guard in to do what exactly? Like, they are all the same niggas. The National Guard, the Minneapolis police, ICE, Homeland Security, all the same motherfuckers, right? You can't call on a killer to come save you from another killer. Like, what? Don't like imagination out here, everybody. Please start preparing and getting yourself together. If you're able to organize with folks, we absolutely encourage you do that. We are very fortunate to be affiliated. Well, associate. Well, I don't want to be claiming other people's org. Because I'm not in an org. However, we have relationships with people who are in org. So please go investigate Black Alliance for Peace. Go investigate Community Movement Builders, Party for Socialism and Liberation, Pan-African Community Action. Is that what PACA stands for? I think so. So, yep, they out there. Go find them. Thank you so much. Oh, and go get them tools. Thank you so much. Better to have them than to not to have them, everybody. These are the times that we live in. I want to take a moment. I want to thank Windra. Thank you so much for your very generous Venmo contribution to the support of the platform. Thank you so much. And listen, if you want to support, if you're able, we appreciate it. BIDWKB on the Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, and patreon.com/BIDWKB. We really, really appreciate it. You guys help to keep us going, help to keep our little lights on. Even though Pepco, what are they doing, y'all? Pepco is robbing me. That is correct. How do I say that? Rosalba, how I say in Spanish? Pepco me roblando. Robalan. I don't know, but they got their hand. Anyway, let me shut up. Y'all gonna tire of me complaining about Pepco. Anyway, so there's that. Before I move on to my next story, Latif, do we have any acknowledgements? Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much. What's up?
I don't see any specific acknowledgments.
Okay.
Other than the fact that we have a really decent crowd in tonight. We got about 77 in the chat.
All right.
Big shout out to our Fire fam. Hit that like button. Appreciate y'all for holding it down.
Thank you, Fire fam. You guys are the bestesses. Who we got in here? I see. Well, let me say. I think I see.
We got Rosalba over there on Twitch, so she heard you listening.
Thank you, Rosalba.
We got Cynthia Rose is in here.
Oh, Cindy Rose. Hi, Cindy.
In here. Nia
Who?
Chef.
Wait, who's the first? After Cindy, who'd you say? Alicia.
Yes, Alicia.
Oh, my niece, Alicia. Alicia, be safe out there. It's dangerous. Be careful. Be careful.
Good to see you. Pam Jones is in here. We got Lovely Lady in the building. Ode to Joan, DJ Vespa X, Tyler Hackner is in here. And I see a couple of unfamiliars. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel.
Appreciate
Nicolata.
Nicolata.
Oh, Infinite Content. I forgot. Good to see you, Infinite. I'm glad to see you showing up in the chat.
Infinite. I need to see you on the block, nigga. Where you? I seen Ice in Philly. I'm like, where's Infinite? He need to be out there giving them niggas the blues. So anyway, thank you, Infinite Content. I appreciate you.
And always, of course, our just always first to show up. Holly Horn. Swear at first. Some of our diehards.
I appreciate y'all. 2 pieces. Thank you all so much. By the way, just a reminder, we got your Cops Ain't Shit merch. I will be ordering my Cops Ain't Shit merch this weekend. So I can do some modeling. Because I'm not just trying to get y'all in trouble. I mean, fuck it. We can all be in trouble. We can all be in detention at the same fucking time. But who's gonna woman and man the bail fund if we all in jail? I guess that's all the point. Yeah. You know what? Let me hush it. I wanted to bring you guys an update on a story that we've been following for several months now, and there doesn't seem to be much movement on getting justice for this family, whatever getting justice feels like. Brentwood, California, but this is not the same LA fancy schmancy Brentwood. This is in Contra Costa County, Brentwood, California. It's California, I'm pretty sure. A story we talked about here where a 72-year-old woman, her name was Yolanda Rodriguez, a grandmother, a devoted family person, was killed or ended up dead in police custody, but we believe that she was killed. Did I mention that she was 72 years old? So I'm going to play the update because they actually do a pretty good job of recapping the original incident. But the latest development is that the family hired an independent autopsy to be done on Yolanda because as of I want to say this incident happened in October of 2025. And here we are almost February of 26. And the Contra Costa County medical examiner or coroner's office, whichever they have, has not completed her autopsy months after the fact. So the family, that's not suspicious or raising any red flags at all, is it, everybody? Especially when police are accused of the one who harmed this woman, right? Oh, sure, takes many months all the time. But anyway, the family took it upon themselves to do an independent autopsy, and the findings, while shocking, are not a shock to those that understand how police get down. And to be clear, let this story be a reminder to you that your local police are not fucking heroes. They are not here to enforce public safety. They are here to enforce public fear and intimidation through physical violence and brutal repression of those that have the temerity, I guess, to disagree, to push back, to advocate for themselves. You will be met with violence, not just from ICE, not just from Border Patrol or Homeland Security or the FBI, or whoever the fuck. It will be your local yokel cops to come and repress you and deny you of your rights and possibly take your life from you. So, Brother Lateef, let's go ahead and run that clip, please. We don't hear it.
Have seen.
Yolanda's son Rich is familiar with what neighbors told us at the
We
time.
started from the beginning.
An independent autopsy has concluded the manner of death for 72-year-old Yolanda Ramirez was homicide. Her death linked to blunt force trauma to the head and torso, as well as asphyxiation as a consequence of police restraint in October.
This just confirms what witnesses have seen.
Yolanda's son Rich is familiar with what neighbors told us at the time.
They forced her into the side of the car, and then the female cop went around the other side of the car and pulled her in the rest of the way, and then shut the door. They were being pretty rough for a 72-year-old lady.
Yolanda was picking up her brother for a medical appointment when she got into an argument with her sister, who called police. Surveillance video caught parts of the interaction.
I have a lot of distrust for the system, especially the Brentwood police.
An autopsy by the Contra Costa County DA's office found a preliminary natural cause of death. a stroke with contributing factors of diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. Melissa Nold is the attorney for the family.
We've had these kind of inconsistencies multiple times. If they leave out force that was used, restraint, body positioning, and things like that, the doctor is only looking for something natural because you didn't say that anything else happened.
The Contra Costa County Coroner's Office has not yet released its autopsy report. The DA's office says their investigation remains open. Brentwood police tell ABC 7 News body-worn camera video from the incident will be released by February 28th at Brentwood City Council's request. No, an independent autopsy has...
Even though that was a very quick news clip, a lot of troubling information. Obviously, the findings of the family's independent medical examiner determined that this lady died from a homicide. Someone killed her. She didn't have a stroke. She didn't die of natural causes, as initially alleged by the Contra Costa DA investigators, who said that she died from hypertension and high cholesterol and all this shit. Yeah, she also might have died from someone's fucking arm around her goddamn neck for an extended amount of time. And I appreciate the family's attorney pointing that out, because we have seen historically and modern day, present day, the way that these medical examiners and these coroners' offices will massage the fucking science and their findings, especially when it comes to causes of death, when people die in police custody or have been outright killed by police, right? Allegedly, the coroner and the medical examiner's offices are supposed to be independent from the police, right? The police are not supposed to influence the findings. However, omission of very relevant evidence about how this woman came to be in the state that she was, because if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves, and I misnamed her, my apologies to the Ramirez family, Yolanda Ramirez. After she had this encounter with cops, she was unconscious. I believe that she was taken via ambulance to the hospital, and she lingered for a few days before she died. They didn't kill her. She didn't die right on the spot on the same day. But she died eventually as a result of her injuries from these police. And y'all, this is the son. I mean, again, this lady's 72. Her son is probably middle-aged, 40, right? He said, I'm losing faith in the system, right? Unfortunately, sometimes it takes the most unthinkable tragedy to happen to your family member, to happen directly to you, before you are awakened to the realities of this evil system and what this system is capable of. And the way that they would literally steal a 72-year-old grandmother away from her family and then shrug their shoulders and then slow walk the body cam evidence. Gang, I thought all the Democrats told us that if the police had body cams, then how could they get away with all of their fuckery and chicanery? The body cams would stop them, right? I've yet to see the evidence of such a stoppage of a rethinking. They're just more selective about what they say on camera. Apparently, the cops, that is, don't give a fuck what they continue to do whilst being recorded, to show you the levels of their depravity and the way that they do not care what other people see, think, believe. It's about what you can prove, and the system is already stacked in their favor. So good luck proving anything. And by the way, when it comes to this case about Yolanda Ramirez, we're just trying to get to the bottom. We, the public, and I make by extension her family, just trying to get to, how did she die? Who put hands on her? I don't hear fuck all from the prosecutors, from the DA's office, about whether or not any cops are being investigated in connection to her murder. I'm not even clear if any of these fucking cops were placed on administrative leave, because she died later, days after her encounter with police. I think, like, for example, when cops kill somebody on the spot, administratively, the police officer has been placed on administrative leave. But if they maim or injure or disable somebody and the person dies later, they may not be placed on leave. And again, what does that mean for the community of Brentwood? California, people who live in Contra Costa County, you've got elder killers in uniforms and badges who still have police powers and authority roaming your streets. It is your right to know the names of these people. I would, if it was a civilian out here killing 72-year-old elders, there'd be a manhunt. You understand? There'd be all kinds of alerts popping up on your phone. I hope, even though I don't get them alerts like I used to anymore. But whatever. We're in different times. I'm very frustrated and upset that this lady's case is not more well known, right? And it's unfortunate because police kill us all the time. They kill Black, they kill brown, they kill women, they kill LGBTQ. They kill us so frequently, it's normalized. And the media or the state narrative, usually aided by the media, tries to figure the ways in which the victim themselves are responsible for their own deaths and for their own demise. We see this very clearly with what happened with Renee Good, Alex Preddy, and of course Keith Porter Jr. All three of them, they're all their own fault that they somehow ended up dead. And the stonewalling of the release of the body cam footage from the Brentwood police, they said it would be released at the city council meeting on February 28th. Bitch, do you know how many fucking months it's been since Miss Ramirez died? Why does it take 3, 4, 5 months to release this body cam footage? Do you know why? You guys can imagine why. Because the footage is probably fucking terrible. It's probably really bad. What do you think it looks like and sounds like when a 72-year-old woman is literally fighting for her life versus 2 armed and I assume trained police? Even the woman cop. Fuck her. Like it's probably horrific, right? And I don't know if what happened to Yolanda is going to bubble up to the level of paying a lot of attention to where people come out. Why? Because I imagine that this particular community in Contra Costa, California, is probably under ICE siege as well, right? This is all part of the overall battle plan to keep us constantly divided, to keep us constantly distracted. This woman's death, her homicide at the hands of cops, is absolutely not a distraction. But I just wonder, how much capacity do we have right now, given that everything that we have been taught that are normal, not normal, that's not the word I'm looking for, routine, maybe there's some routine aspects of American way of life that are being upended right now. And they meaning we, everybody, we just can't stomach another tragedy, another state murder, because we are at our saturation point, right? It's not that we lack compassion. It's like when you are overwhelmed, it's almost kind of like a drowning feeling, like, literally in over your head. Like, this is all too much. This is all doing a wonder on my mental health in the negative and in the bad. So I'm just here to do what I can to try to let y'all know what people are still experiencing right now, beyond the reach of ICE, beyond the reach of Homeland Security, what people have been continuously experiencing, and why we need to burn this goddamn system to the fucking ground. There is nothing reformable or redeemable about U.S. policing. There's nothing reformable or redeemable about the U.S. military. There's nothing reformable or redeemable about the overall setup of this country that places cisgender Christian property owning white men at the top and everybody else can fuck off basically and fight for the scraps, fight for the crumbs at the bottom. And if they have to return to routine, I don't even want to say these words because they sound, as I'm about to say, I was going to say, if they want to return to routine racial violence against the public, but it's like, return, when did they ever take a break? When did they ever stop? When did it ever let up? It hasn't. It has been a continuous way of making sure that everybody else stays down. But the problem is, how can we stay down versus suckers? Okay. We can't. These people who are, Trump is the embodiment of, and the deputized Proud Boys are manifestations of as well. These people are weak minded. They are weak bodied. They are slaves to this deeply misguided superiority complex that is literally based on nothing. The only thing that white people are superior at is their capacity for cruelty and for brutality. When you look at world history and who has done what when and how and the methods, the whites win that hands down. The cruelty Olympics, they gold medal winners every time. But that's supposed to make the rest of us believe that makes them superior to us all. Because as shout out to Sheila on TikTok. I love Sheila. You're just because you are the cruelest does not make you better. It doesn't make you smarter. It doesn't make you stronger. It in fact makes you weaker, because that's all you got. All you got is death and destruction. All you can create are weapons of war, death machines. Look at what black people create. Look at what Asians create, nigga. look at what my Latinos create out here. What the fuck do the whites create besides chaos, havoc, destruction? Not our white friends, of course, but but your kinfolk, absolutely. Them niggas is terrible. And here's the thing, y'all. We can win. I do believe that we can win, but we have to understand that this is going to be a protracted struggle, as it has already been a protracted struggle. And as our comrades, I think, justifiably talk about how we are not organized, we are not prepared. Well, maybe we aren't to the extent that we should/could be, but I think that what people are fed up enough, right? And I think people are increasingly letting their frustration and their anger drive them to more action. And things take time, guys. The Haitian Revolution took a decade plus, and the Haitians won versus France. France was big shit. France was big shit back in the day. And they got took out by the Haitians. By the way, it was some voodoo involved in that also. And I think that it is very important that if that is your lineage, especially that is spiritual work, you need to tap into that too. Maybe we can't hex enough death on Trump, but what we do need to be doing is casting protection on ourselves, on our homes, on our friends, and on our families, right? And we can do that in the spiritual ways. So if you got some indigenous, some Africans, some Caribbeans, some ancient Black Americans, you know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of practices. If you're just, regular churchy, go pray. Jesus Christ, go do some prayers. Go pray. Oh, the hoodoo girlie said that Psalms are spells. So go read your book of Psalms. And call on protection for yourselves, and call on defeat for your enemies. That's in Psalms. all that is in Psalms. And when you say it out loud too, that should be hitting. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I'm like, ooh, that felt like it did something. So yeah, tap into it all, baby, because we're gonna need it all. all the methods of protection that you can summon, do it. Gang, I'm gonna bid you all adieu. To you and you and you. I'm gonna see y'all back here on the fuck. What's today? Today's Friday. I'm gonna see y'all back here Tuesday. I'm gonna get my shit together. Couple things. Sunday, February 1st is the full moon. Full moon in Leo. Ooh. So don't ask me what it means. It means get your shit together. That's exactly what the fuck it means. This is a snow moon, and probably wherever you are in America, you're probably looking at some goddamn snow. Maybe after this weekend, you could be looking at a whole lot more, depending on where you are. But please take the time to ground yourself. Don't go outside and freeze your ass off to look at the full moon. But if you catch a glimpse of it, bathe in that moonlight. Let that moonlight hit you. Feel that. You know what I mean? Pick all that light up, all that moonlight up. You're gonna need that. Leo, full moon in Leo means that this is a time to return to your courage, to your strength, to your abilities, to your dreams, to the things that you have passion for. Tap into that. I will be drawing myself a spiritual bath on the 1st because I like to try to coordinate those things for my own stuff. So anyway, just wanted to share that with y'all. Full moon, Sunday, February 1st. Take advantage. Don't miss it. What's up, Rebel Latif?
Just before we go, I'm pretty sure I missed a few people. Nephew Don is in the building.
Oh shit! There go my nephew, my baby boy.
Emmanuel Briggs, Cynical.
What's up, Manny? What's up, Cynical?
And the chat has been really busy, so I appreciate the energy over here. We got a new name over here, Dutch Slave Trade. All right, welcome, Dutch Slave Trade. Without Remorse, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Stargazer Steph over on Twitch. Good to see you, Stargazer.
Stargazer Steph. We like the stars. I think 3-Eye Atlas may have a role to play here. 3-Eye Atlas ain't. I mean, it's not near Earth no more, but he's still in the neighborhood. They're still around. So yeah. So anyway, shout out to Stargazer Stuff. I love the name. Thank you.
That's all I got.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Brother Latif, pushing the buttons in the background. Peace to our good sis Molly. Thank you so much, Fire Fam. I appreciate you. Trady, thank you so much for your support. Franny French, Wendra, what's up? And to everyone that tuned into Classical Breakdown, if you didn't get a chance to check out the latest installation of Classical Breakdown featuring myself and my bruv, the Ear Doctor, we featured the highly impressive, the very impressive song and production catalog of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, two of the engineers of the Minneapolis sound. Big up to Minneapolis for being a funk capital out here. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is our Negro soundtrack for the past 30-40 years. So please go over there and check it out. We appreciate all that tuned in, and for everyone that supports, thank you so much. Gang, I'll see y'all back here Tuesday. Don't forget, tomorrow, Black Liberation Media. Saturdays with who, y'all? With Renee. That is 11 a.m. Eastern. Please tune in to Sister Renee. You know Renee gonna bang y'all in the head with some information.